Have you ever opened your eyes in the middle of the night and instantly known what was coming next? You're half asleep, staring into the dark, already feeling your feet search for the floor because your bladder is calling the shots again. It might be 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or 4 a.m., and there you are, shuffling down the hallway, one hand on the wall, just trying not to trip over anything. Most people laugh it off and say, "That's just getting older." But what if it isn't something you just have to accept? What if those nightly bathroom trips are not only stealing your sleep, but quietly stressing your heart, fogging your brain, and increasing your risk of a dangerous fall? In this video, as a urologist, I'm going to walk you through how to drink water in a completely different way so that your body finally understands. Night is for sleeping, not for standing in the bathroom. You'll discover a simple, science-backed hydration method and a few small daily habits that can help you stay hydrated, protect your health, and stop those constant wake-ups. And no, it's not about just stop drinking water. In fact, that common advice can make everything worse. So stay with me until the end, because once you understand how your body really handles water, you'll never look at that evening glass the same way again. Why nighttime bathroom trips are more dangerous than they look. When you wake up at night, it feels like a small interruption. You get up, you go, you come back to bed. But inside your body, something much bigger is happening every single time. First, let's talk about balance. When you've been lying still for hours, your blood pressure is a little lower, your muscles are relaxed, and your brain is still in sleep mode. The moment you sit up, your circulatory system has to react fast. Blood shifts, your heart pumps harder, and for a few seconds your brain is playing catch-up. That's why so many people feel dizzy when they stand up quickly in the dark. As we age, that quick adjustment doesn't happen as smoothly, and those few unstable seconds can be the difference between reaching the bathroom and ending up on the floor. I still remember a patient I'll call Arthur. He was 74, loved gardening, and spent his weekends fussing over his roses. One night, half awake and in a hurry to get to the toilet, he misjudged the corner of a rug. He slipped, fell, and fractured his hip. The fracture healed, but his confidence didn't. Getting in and out of chairs became a project. Walking in his garden felt risky. That one nighttime trip turned into a slow loss of independence. That's the hidden danger buried inside a simple bathroom visit at 3 a.m. Then there's your mind. Your brain desperately needs long, deep blocks of sleep to sort memories, clear out waste products, and reset your mood. When your sleep is chopped into pieces by multiple bathroom trips, your brain never really finishes its work. People often think, my memory is just getting worse because I'm older, but in reality, their sleep has been broken for months or years. One of my patients, Teresa, started noticing that she kept misplacing small items, repeating the same questions, and losing track of conversations. She thought her memory was just going. When we looked closer, she was waking up 3 or 4 times every single night to pee. Once we tackled her nocturia and protected her sleep, that heavy mental cloud began to lift. And it doesn't stop at memory. Chronic broken sleep is strongly tied to irritability, anxious feelings, and a shorter fuse with the people you love. When you don't sleep properly, your brain's emotional brakes are thin. Little annoyances suddenly feel huge. Arguments start over nothing. I remember a gentleman named John who told me he didn't recognize himself anymore. He was snapping at his grandkids, declining outings with friends, and turning down invitations he would have loved years earlier. He wasn't suddenly antisocial. He was exhausted. On top of all that, every forced awakening is a mini stress for your heart and blood vessels. Your body doesn't know that you're just going to the bathroom. It only knows that you went from deep rest to standing in the dark with your heart pounding a little faster. Over months and years, that repeated stress is associated with higher blood pressure and increased heart strain in many people. So when you think about your harmless nightly trip, remember this. It isn't just about being annoyed. It's about your bones, your brain, your mood, and your heart. But the good news is that once you understand why your body does this, you can start turning the dial back in your favor. And that brings us to the real question. What is actually going wrong inside the body that makes your bladder wake you up again and again? What your body is secretly doing with water while you sleep. Most people assume, I pee at night because I drank water. End of story. But your body is far more strategic than that. You have a hormone with a long name, antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Think of ADH as the night shift manager for your kidneys. During the day, your kidneys are happy to make plenty of urine. You're up, you're moving, you're near a bathroom. At night, your brain is supposed to release more ADH. That hormone tells your kidneys, slow down. We're sleeping. Concentrate the urine. Make less of it. Let the bladder rest. When you're younger, this rhythm is strong. You can drink reasonable amounts during the day, go to bed, and your kidneys understand the assignment. But as we get older, the brain's signal can get weaker. It doesn't send as much ADH at night, or the kidneys don't respond as efficiently. The result? Your kidneys keep behaving as if it's daytime. They keep filtering and making urine, and your poor bladder fills up again and again while you're trying to sleep. Now add a second piece, your bladder itself. Over time, the bladder muscle can become a bit less flexible, a bit more irritable. If the urine inside it is very concentrated, or if you've been consuming common bladder irritants like caffeine, acidic drinks, or very spicy foods, the lining of the bladder can become hypersensitive. That means you feel the urge to go even when the bladder is not full. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off for burnt toast instead of waiting for a real fire. There's a third quiet player in this story, your legs. During the day, especially if you spend hours standing or sitting, gravity pulls fluid down into your lower legs and ankles. Sometimes you can see it as swelling, sometimes you can't. But the fluid is there. When you finally lie down at night, gravity's grip relaxes. That fluid slowly moves back into circulation, up toward your heart, through your kidneys, and eventually into your bladder. So even if you stop drinking early, your body is still redistributing stored fluid, and your kidneys are still turning it into urine hours after lights out. And then we stack lifestyle habits on top. Evening caffeine keeps your bladder more active. Alcohol blocks some of your deep sleep phases and interferes with that ADH signal, so your kidneys make more urine right when you want them to quiet down. Heavy late dinners, very salty foods, sugary desserts, and certain medications can all nudge your system toward making more urine at night. Put it all together, and you can see why so many people wake up thinking, I barely drank anything, and I still had to pee 3 times. It's not just the last glass. It's your hormones, your bladder sensitivity, the fluid in your legs, your dinner, your meds, and your daily habits all talking to each other. So with all that complexity, why do so many people keep reaching for the same simple solution? I'll just drink less water. That's where the most stubborn myths begin. 3 big myths that secretly make your nighttime peeing worse. Myth number 1. If I drink less water, the problem goes away. On paper, it makes sense. Less water and must mean less urine out. But your body is not a simple pipe. When you drink too little, your urine becomes darker and more concentrated. That concentrated urine is loaded with waste products and minerals in a smaller volume of fluid. When it sits inside an older, more sensitive bladder, it can feel like sandpaper. The bladder becomes irritated and sends urgent signals to your brain, even when it's only partly full. I've had many patients tell me proudly, Doc, after lunch I barely drink anything. Then they describe an evening where they're suddenly overwhelmed by thirst. They gulp a big glass or 2 of water after dinner, or even closer to bedtime, trying to catch up. Their body, which has been in conservation mode all day, suddenly receives a flood of fluid. The kidneys respond aggressively, and the bladder fills, right on schedule for that 2 or 3 a.m. wake-up. Dehydration by day, overload by night. That pattern is a perfect recipe for nocturia. Myth number 2. I just have a tiny bladder. It's my fate. This myth is particularly cruel because it makes people feel helpless. My mom had it, my sisters have it, my daughters have it, so there's nothing I can do. The truth is, in many adults who wake up at night to pee, the bladder size itself is not the main culprit. The bigger factors are how much urine is being made at night and how sensitive the bladder has become. When we actually test bladder capacity in a safe, controlled way, we often find that the volume is fairly normal. What's abnormal is the timing of urine production and the threshold at which the bladder sends the "I have to go now" message. Once patients see that, they realize something powerful. This isn't a fixed destiny. This is a system that can be trained and calmed. Myth number 3. My evening drink helps me sleep, so it can't be the problem. Many people swear that a little nightcap or a soothing drink is the only way they can fall asleep. Alcohol can make you feel sleepy at first, and warm herbal drinks can be comforting. But the body's reality is different from the mind's story. Alcohol fragments your sleep later in the night. You might fall asleep quickly, but your deeper, restorative stages are cut short. On top of that, alcohol tampers with ADH. Remember that night shift manager? Alcohol is like telling that manager to take the night off. Your kidneys read that signal as, "Go ahead, make more urine." That's why so many people notice they wake up in the second half of the night, feeling restless and suddenly needing the bathroom. The exact opposite of what they were hoping for. Even drinks that seem harmless, like big mugs of herbal tea, late bowls of soup, or juicy fruit right before bed, can all pile extra fluid into your system at the worst possible time. Your body doesn't care that it was healthy if the timing is off. So if drinking less doesn't work, blaming your bladder doesn't work, and evening drinks backfire, what does work? This is where a structured, smarter approach to hydration makes all the difference. Let me introduce you to a method many of my patients use to finally turn the lights off at night and stay asleep. The ASSE method. How to drink water so your body lets you sleep. I like to give people a simple formula they can remember, even when they're tired. I call it the ASSE method. It's not about drinking more or less in a random way. It's about drinking at the right times and in the right way so your kidneys and bladder understand the schedule. Advance your hydration. Most people unconsciously do the exact opposite of what their body needs. They forget to drink in the morning, sip a little at lunch, then realize in the late afternoon that they're thirsty. So they drink more and more as the day goes on, sometimes right up until bedtime. Their kidneys are flooded with fluid in the evening, and of course, the bladder has to handle it overnight. To reverse this, you want to shift your water earlier in the day. Aim to get about 70 to 75% of your daily fluid in before late afternoon. Think of your morning as your hydration headquarters. When you wake up, instead of reaching first for coffee, start with water. Keep a bottle by your bed or in the kitchen, and make it a habit to drink a good glass or two within the first hour of waking. Don't chug until you feel sick. Just drink at a steady, comfortable pace. Then continue with small, regular sips through the morning and early afternoon. Your kidneys are fully awake, your brain is on, and your body can process that water efficiently. I've seen patients like Leo, in his early 70s, dramatically reduce their nighttime trips just by front-loading their hydration. He started his day with 2 glasses of water, sipped consistently before lunch, and noticed something simple but powerful. By the time evening came, he wasn't desperately thirsty. His body had already gotten what it needed. Smooth the transition. Hearing "drink earlier" makes some people swing too hard in the other direction. They decide that after a certain hour, they will drink absolutely nothing. They turn hydration into an all-or-nothing rule. That kind of rigid cutoff can leave you going to bed with a dry mouth, feeling thirsty, and actually sleeping worse. Your body doesn't like sudden stops. It prefers smooth transitions. So instead of an evening water wall, think of a gentle slope. After late afternoon, you gradually reduce your fluid rather than slamming it to 0. Between around 4 p.m. and dinner, stick to smaller amounts. If you feel thirsty, reach for half a glass of water, not a full one. Drink enough to feel comfortable, not heavy. With dinner, take small sips only, just enough to swallow your food. Avoid large bowls of soup, big glasses of juice, or massive refills that quietly add up. This smooth landing keeps you from both extremes. You're not dehydrated, but you're not flooding your system at night either. Smart cutoff. Now we get a bit more precise. Your kidneys and bladder need time to process whatever you drink before you lie down. If you keep drinking until the minute you get into bed, you're asking your body to multitask, digest, filter, and sleep all at once. That's why I recommend a sacred window. Try not to drink anything significant in the 2 hours before sleep. Think of it as a calm, quiet period for your kidneys. During that window, if you truly need moisture because your mouth feels dry, allow yourself a tiny sip. Not half a glass, not a full glass. Just enough to wet your mouth and throat. For many of my patients, just moving their last meaningful drink 2 hours earlier was a game changer. One woman simply shifted her evening tea and made sure her last real drink was at least 2 hours before bed. Within a week, she noticed that her usual 1 to 3 a.m. bathroom trip disappeared on most nights. Electrolyte anchor. Here's a twist most people don't think about. Water needs partners. If you drink plain water all day, but your diet is very low in certain minerals, that water may rush through your digestive system and kidneys without really anchoring in your cells. Your body uses electrolytes like sodium and potassium to move water where it belongs. In small, smart amounts, they act like keys opening the door for water to enter your cells and stay there, rather than just passing straight to your bladder. That's why adding a tiny pinch of unrefined salt and a small squeeze of fresh lemon to your first glass of water in the morning can help. It gives your body a gentle nudge toward better hydration balance. The salt provides sodium, the lemon provides potassium and a bit of flavor, and together they tell your cells, take this water in and actually use it. We're not talking about big salty drinks, especially if you have blood pressure or heart concerns. Always follow your doctor's guidance about salt. This is about a very small amount as part of a broader strategy, while you also work to reduce hidden excess salt later in the day. Smart dinner choices. Even if your water timing is perfect, a chaotic dinner can still wake your bladder. Spicy meals, very acidic foods, heavy tomato sauces, pickles, citrus-heavy dishes, or very sugary desserts can irritate the bladder lining. Excess sugar can also cause your body to adjust fluid balance in a way that increases urine production. Very salty foods make you thirsty, which can tempt you to drink more in the evening, restarting the cycle. Instead, aim for dinners that are gentle on both your digestion and your bladder. A moderate portion of lean protein, like chicken, fish, or eggs, with cooked, not raw, vegetables is a good base for many people. Try to have dinner at least 3 hours before bed so your body isn't working overtime on digestion when you lie down. And give caffeine a hard deadline earlier in the day. For many people, making sure their last caffeinated drink is before early afternoon helps both their bladder and their sleep. These steps already change the game, but we're not done. Once your hydration is flowing in the right direction, a few extra techniques can make your nights even better. High-performance tires, strategies that multiply your results. Think of the ASSE method as the engine of your plan. Now we're going to add the high-performance tires, small supporting habits that grip the road and keep you steady all night. Double voiding, emptying the tank properly. Have you ever gone to the bathroom right before bed, felt like you were done, then found yourself back in there 20 minutes later? Sometimes it's not that your body made more urine in 20 minutes. It's that your bladder didn't completely empty the first time. To help with that, try double voiding. Here's how it works in simple terms. Before bed, go to the bathroom and take your time. Sit down, even if you usually stand. Let your shoulders drop, relax, and don't rush. When you feel finished, stay seated for another 30 to 60 seconds. Take a few calm breaths. Then lean slightly forward and see if a bit more comes out. You'd be surprised how often there's a second little wave. That extra bit of urine could have been the difference between sleeping through and waking up at 3 a.m. with an urgent need to go. Gravity elevator. Using your legs to protect your sleep. Remember that daytime fluid pooling in your legs? If you ignore it, your body will deal with it later, usually after you lie down. But you can flip the script by using gravity to your advantage before bed. 1 to 2 hours before you plan to sleep, find a comfortable spot where you can put your feet up. Elevate your legs so they are at or slightly above the level of your heart. You can stack pillows, use a footrest, or lie on a couch with your calves propped up. Stay in that position for part of your evening while you read, chat, or watch something. By doing this, you gently encourage that stored fluid in your legs to move back into circulation earlier. Your kidneys then process and turn it into urine while you're still awake. You can empty your bladder one last time before bed, instead of your body surprising you with that fluid shift in the middle of the night. Some people also benefit from compression stockings during the day, especially if they have noticeable leg swelling, but that should be discussed with a healthcare professional. Salt control. Smart in the morning, lighter overall. We talked about that tiny pinch of salt with your morning water as an anchor. Now let's look at your overall salt story. Hidden salt is everywhere. Processed foods, canned soups, deli meats, sauces, snacks, and ready-made meals. When you eat a lot of salt, your body holds onto water to keep the level in balance. You feel thirstier, you drink more, and your kidneys are forced to work harder to get rid of the extra. Some of that extra effort spills into the night. By gradually cutting back on heavily salted and processed foods, flavoring your meals more with herbs and spices instead of pure salt, and cooking at home when you can, you reduce the pressure on your kidneys and your bladder. You'll often notice less swelling in your ankles, fewer swings in thirst, and more stable fluid balance. A safer night environment. One more supporting strategy is simple but powerful. Make the path from your bed to the bathroom as safe and easy as possible. Place a small night light along the way so you aren't walking in darkness. Clear any cords, rugs, or clutter that could catch your foot. Keep a stable surface nearby to touch for balance if you need it. If reaching the bathroom is quite far or difficult for you, talk with your doctor about whether a bedside solution is appropriate. This doesn't directly change how often you pee, but it massively lowers the risk of a fall on the nights when you do need to get up. Remember Arthur and his rug. Sometimes prevention starts with the simple details. Now, with hydration timing corrected and these supportive techniques in place, there's one more piece, making sure you're not missing a deeper medical issue. When nighttime peeing is a sign to see your doctor. Everything we've talked about so far is focused on habits and hydration. But frequent nighttime urination can sometimes be a warning sign that something else needs attention. You should talk to a healthcare professional if you notice any of the following. A sudden big change in how often you pee at night. Burning, pain, or a strong discomfort when you urinate. Blood in your urine, even a small amount. Fever or feeling very unwell along with urinary symptoms. Very strong, constant thirst with frequent urination day and night. Unintentional weight loss, or feeling unusually weak and tired. Loud snoring with gasping or choking sounds at night, or waking up short of breath. A weak urinary stream, difficulty starting to pee, or feeling like you never fully empty your bladder, especially in men, which can suggest prostate issues. Conditions like urinary tract infections, untreated diabetes, an enlarged prostate, kidney problems, or sleep apnea can all show up as frequent nighttime urination. It's important not to ignore these warning signs or chalk everything up to, "I just drink wrong." This video is meant to give you tools and understanding, but it's not a diagnosis. If anything you're experiencing worries you, use that as motivation to book an appointment and get checked. In some cases, adjusting medications, treating an infection, or addressing sleep apnea can dramatically improve nighttime urination. And even when medical treatment is needed, the hydration and lifestyle strategies we've covered today often work alongside it to give you the best results. So let's assume you've either been evaluated or have no red flags, and you're ready to design a plan. How do you actually put all of this into practice in a way that's realistic and not overwhelming? The 7-day Sleep Through the Night Challenge. Instead of trying to change everything at once, I want you to think in terms of a 7-day experiment. Not perfection, not pressure, just 7 days of paying attention and making small, consistent adjustments. Here's how your day might look during this challenge. Morning, after you wake up. As soon as you can, drink a glass of water. If your doctor says it's safe for you, add that tiny pinch of unrefined salt and a small squeeze of lemon to your first glass. This is your hydration signal to your body. Over the next few hours, aim to drink regularly, small sips, not huge gulps. This is where you start stacking up most of your fluid for the day. Late morning to early afternoon. With each meal, take reasonable sips. Keep a bottle nearby and drink steadily, so you don't arrive at the afternoon feeling like you've crossed a desert. Try to have most of your day's fluid in by the middle of the afternoon. If you enjoy coffee or tea with caffeine, make sure your last cup is earlier in the day so it doesn't push your bladder and brain into nighttime overdrift. Late afternoon. This is where you start to smooth the transition. If you're thirsty, pour half a glass and drink it slowly. Avoid starting new large drinks or refilling repeatedly. Think, I'm topping up, not loading up. As you get closer to dinner, keep your fluids mode. Dinner time. Aim to eat dinner at least 3 hours before bed. Choose foods that are gentle on your bladder. A moderate portion of lean protein, some cooked vegetables, maybe a bit of whole grain if that fits your plan. Go easy on very spicy, very acidic, or very sugary dishes. During the meal, sip only as much as you need to swallow your food comfortably. Skip the big bowl of soup or the huge glass of juice if nighttime peeing is a serious problem for you. 1 to 2 hours before bed. This is your gravity elevator and relaxation window. Put your feet up. Elevate your legs on pillows or a cushioned surface while you unwind. Let gravity move that extra fluid out of your legs while you're still awake. If your doctor agrees, this is also where certain medications might be better timed, but always follow professional GUID. 2 hours before sleep. Begin your smart cutoff. Avoid any significant drinking. If your mouth feels dry, take tiny sips, just enough to feel comfortable. No tall glasses. No refilling. Honor this window like a promise to your future self who wants to sleep. Right before bed, do your double void. Go to the bathroom. Take your time emptying your bladder. Then wait a bit and try again before you wash your hands and head to bed. When you're done, check that your path to the bathroom is clear and gently lit, just in case you idiot. During these 7 days, keep a very simple note. What time you went to bed, how many times you got up to pee, and how you felt in the morning. You don't need a complicated chart. Just pay attention. Many people notice small improvements within a few days. Maybe you still wake up, but only once instead of 3 times. Maybe you fall back asleep faster. Maybe your morning feels less foggy. The goal isn't to chase perfection. The goal is to teach your body a new rhythm. Hydrate early, rest at night. Turning your nights into your strongest tool. Let's bring it all together. Those middle-of-the-night bathroom trips are not just an annoyance to roll your eyes at. They affect your balance, your brain, your mood, your heart, and your quality of life. For years, you might have been told, that's just aging, or drink less, or you probably have a tiny bladder. But now you know there's a deeper story behind every 3 a.m. shuffle down the H. Always. You've seen how hormones like ADH, your bladder's sensitivity, fluid in your legs, your evening habits, and your overall salt and caffeine intake all team up for or against your sleep. You've learned why extreme fluid restriction backfires, why that relaxing nightcap isn't really your friend, and why timing your water is just as important as the amount. With the ASSE method, you have a practical way to drink that turns water into your ally instead of your enemy at night. Advance your hydration earlier in the day. Smooth the transition instead of slamming a hard cutoff. Smart cutoff with a 2-hour liquid-free window before bed. Electrolyte anchor in the morning, plus smart dinner choices that keep your bladder calm. Then you added high-performance tires, double voiding before bed, using gravity with leg elevation, trimming excess salt, and making your nighttime pad safe. Now I want to turn this back to you. What is one small commitment you can make starting tonight? Maybe it's, I'll move my last drink 2 hours earlier. Maybe it's, I'll start my day with a proper glass of water instead of waiting until lunch. Maybe it's, I'm going to try leg elevation and double voiding for the next 7 nights. Take a moment and choose your one promise to yourself. Then, if you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. Your simple decision might be exactly what someone else needs to read. If this video helped you understand your body better and gave you hope that your nights can change, let me know by tapping the like button. It tells the platform that this is the kind of information people want more of. And if you want to keep learning practical, science-based ways to protect your health, your sleep, and your independence, make sure you subscribe. That way, you won't miss the next video where we keep building on this journey together. Finally, think of one person in your life who might be quietly struggling with nighttime bathroom trips. A parent, a friend, a neighbor who keeps saying they're always tired. Share this video with them. You might help them go from dreading bedtime to finally waking up refreshed. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your water, and your water will help take care of you. Stay healthy, sleep deeply, and I'll see you in the next video.